Hello and welcome back to another card making tutorial. Thanks for watching Claudia Henderson Creations. And today we're gonna do this little fun card. So this is a birthday card. And as I told many times, I always love to keep any phrases, any sentiments, anything that, you know, can go on the outside or inside of a card, because we're making quite a few cards throughout the year. And this is why am I sending this? So this is like a fun play on birthdays, and we're gonna use this one here. It's hard to find a friend that is so amazing in every way. My advice is you don't lose me. And then I actually, this one here, your heart, young at heart, slightly older in other places. It's from a really fun set, Casual Friday Stems, young at heart, and this is an older set that I bought a couple years ago. And we also gonna use a background or texture stamp, and this again is an older one, but I like it, and we gonna use these little lines here. So all right, and as you can see, again, you can use all your scraps. So I use a whole bunch of little squares on this one, and I started with the intention to put them all straight in a row, but I ended up like this. So I think it's gonna be a fun way to place your squares and make a card. All right, so let's get going and start with the inside. So for the inside, I need a piece of scrap paper here. And there you can see this is the planning stage. But it didn't turn out that way, but that's okay. Sometimes you have something in your mind you want to do, and then you find out, well, that ain't working that way. And that's okay. All right, so I'm just stamping this one off here. So we have a short one, a longer one, and then we put one on the bottom here. And then I've turned, no, we're gonna leave it. And then we do the same on this side. So a longer one down here, a shorter one in the middle, and then we do a longer one up here. Okay. And this was melon. If you have papaya still from close to my heart, that will work. Those are the same colors. All right, let's do the doodling too while we're at it. That way the inside of our card is done. So I just did faux stitching on the inside. And again, if you're more comfortable, you can use a ruler and do the whole thing with a ruler in hand. But I just go for it. It's a handmade card, so there could be slight variations, and that is okay. So we're just gonna do a little bit here, and then we do 2 more here, and we call the inside done. Now to the fun part. Okay, the easiest way, so we have our 2 leaves. I already stamped the little tag, and then I just use some silver thread, and I bunch this up like multiple times. And because it's such a thin thread, I'm just gonna do a double knot and then cut the ends off so it looks even. And this is nothing fancy. This is, I think I bought it at Michael's. It's just a roll of silver metallic thread. Okay. And then we just grab this here and snap it off about here. Let me see if I can find a roll here. This is what it looks like. Just metallic. So any metallic gold silver. I like this white silver because it works with almost everything. Okay, so we got our tag done. Let's put this one down first. And this is the color Bluebell. So this is the true color. I use the lighter side for that, but you can pick and choose what you want. And I'm just gonna put some adhesive on here. And then we center it. So make sure you have a nice even spacing all the way around. And now you take your squares. And if you have an uneven number or you can't find the colors, make sure you turn them around, because the paper is two-sided. So it might just be that this one is underneath or is flipped around. I kind of like try to keep them in order when I package them, but depending on how you pull them out, they might not be in order anymore. So this is about where I put them. And you can do whatever you want. So you could, if you have a hard time, you know, you want them to be straight, I mean, you could just line them up straight too. But then you really have just a thin spacer, but I think I like it a little bit off. So we go for the off one. And I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive underneath here. And I start with this one. And I'm not pushing down yet because they are, this row, like the yellow one goes underneath the green here. And I want to make sure that they all nicely fit before I push them down. And they're not looking too uniform. You know, when you're trying to put something randomly, it never ends up randomly. It often looks too much like somebody straightened everything out. And okay, let's put this one about here. Flip it over, and this one we need to flip a little bit. There we go. This looks good. Done. Okay. Now I like to make sure I have enough room here, because that's what happened to me when I originally planted those. I kind of like didn't have enough room down here, so I want to make sure there's plenty of room to get the last row in. Here. Okay. And then this one here, and green. And you can place them any way you want. I mean, there's no right or wrong way with those squares. It's just so it looks a little bit random. And not too lined up. Okay. And let's put this one here. Somewhere there. Okay. I think this is all good. This one I raised, and for the leaves, so I put my leaves down here, and I put a little bit foam adhesive under some of the leaves, not all of them. So like like 3, and then the other I will put a little bit adhesive. Let's put a little bit adhesive here. Because those will be on the inside, and we're gonna cover them up with the little tag. So I don't really need a spacer there because the tag's gonna be raised too, and then depending on where you place them, you have maybe 2 of these foam thingies on top, and then it gets really thick. Okay, so these 2 will be flat, and the rest has their little spacers underneath. And I'm gonna place these somewhere up here. And then we put our little tag down here. And that is it for this card. If you want, you could use a black pen and do some stitching around the edges here, the outline, or a white pen, white gel pen if you have, but I left mine without doodles this time. Okay, there you have it. Another use of some scrap papers that you couldn't get rid of, but they're too pretty to not use. I hope you like this little birthday card idea, and if you do so, please give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Otherwise, leave me a comment if you have any questions or need anything else, and I will see you back here next week with another card making tutorial. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye bye.